Hi guys. Just confess up front, I'm not entirely sure what citizen-centric media means either, but I made up the term and now I've got to run with it. I don't know if you know that the ABC innovation team, we're charged, one of the things that we're charged with is to explore sort of future-facing projects. So today I'm going to be talking about some thoughts that are been bubbling around at ABC Innovation and in my head and in the heads of other people there. And also, so that's sort of a philosophical discussion, which I'm going to have in a one-way sense with you, and then also about walking the talk of that discussion, so that it's not just about thoughts, but it's about some stuff that we're actually doing in a concrete sense, because obviously innovation is ideas put into action, not just a whole lot of waffle. So the things that I've been thinking about is obviously the challenges facing media and journalism particularly, and democratic societies depend on diversity and independence of media. And obviously we're concerned about what's going to be necessary for media to thrive in an era when digital disruption is changing everything. And particularly, what would happen if we started developing products that were citizen-centric, and what would these products look like? Would traditional media companies that are struggling so much today thrive or die in a citizen-centric world? There was a time back then, painting a fantastic picture for you, when we didn't have media companies. We, the people, had to share the information amongst ourselves, mouth to mouth and person to person. It was imperfect, as human systems are, but it was of us, and it was made by us and reflective of us, of our geography and our preferences. And while we didn't get the full picture, do we ever, even today, we listened to that which had purpose and meaning for us in our lives. Populations grew, systems of powers changed, towns got bigger, and our information needs became more complex. When this happened, obviously we started outsourcing our news and information. First, through the advent of paper. I'm, an outdoor girl in part of my life, so I had to put up a poster. And then the printing press. And soon media companies were born. And they started doing a job for us that we used to do for ourselves. I'm kind of going to jump, I'm not an academic, I'm going to jump through the couple of centuries or multiple centuries now. But then what happened as the modern media companies developed is that, like other markets as they matured over hundreds of years, they focused much more on what other companies in their space were doing. The edge that they sought was an edge against their competitor. And even though the media changed quite dramatically with the advent of radio and later with TV, the business models within traditional media markets are strikingly similar. The business models of most media companies in their own markets are actually identical. They didn't ask people what would be ideal for them. They thought about what would be ideal for media companies. And so most media companies within their markets perfected these same business models, albeit with differentiated content. Now we know what happens when you have the same business model or you do the same thing and a storm or a bug. You know what happened in the plagues when you all got the same DNA. You're very susceptible to a dramatic change. And of course, the internet changed everything. Not only did the internet break business models, both in music and in newspaper industries, non-media and non-content people started building businesses that no one had ever seen before. And these so-called social networks use technology and networking capabilities of the internet to bring to life human behaviours that have existed for centuries. The desire for connection, the thrill of sharing information, of self-determining, of creating communities of interest, of gossip, humour, outrage, empathy, mostly through recommendation, not through big broadcast channels, in circles and sets with people that they know or have chosen to be associated with. Companies like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter use these new technologies to create something that more closely resembled human behaviour, was more about fitting content into the normal ebb and flow of life, or about recognising what the people themselves bring to the interaction, the choices they want to make. Today, the speed of change means that business models that used to last 10 to 20 years have to be reinvented every 3, and is necessitating a dramatic shift in the way that organisations design their products and services. Design thinking is everywhere today, so as is customer-centred design. Banks, insurance company, even governments. It's pretty big change when governments just embracing the idea of putting people first. Is being called it's been called an innovative approach. It's what many startups do as part of their DNA. They think about what people need first rather than last. The fact that big corporations are excited by the idea of designing for people really, to me, shows that people have become the steady compass, the constant horizon, not their corporate competitors. We're no longer trying to find the edge over another company in our market. We're actually trying to figure out what people want. It's rather ironic that people, or us, customers, are citizens of a new great hope, but it's also a relief. Finally, they care about us. I think media companies are not alone either. They are embracing this approach as well. But I think we often do so within the prism of our existing media models, within the model of our existing thinking, much in the same way that traditional retailers do when you see what they execute by the way of an e-commerce offering. So I sort of wonder if what could happen for media if we thought about what is possible when you truly put people first. And I wonder if a company like ASOS would show us what could be possible. I don't know how many of you buy clothes from ASOS. My husband does. He's out of the target group, but maybe he's trying to still be a 20-something. The investor page for ASOS says this: welcome. We're creating a unique multi-channel shopping experience where 20-something fashion lovers can network, share ideas, create their own style, and of course, shop. And of course, shop. Shop is the very last thing that they mention, not the first. They go on to say, we're visited by millions every day and we ship the latest trends to customers in 237 companies. Do you notice that they ship trends, not clothes? Their ambition is to be the world's #1 online fashion destination for 20-somethings. They say they're obsessive about understanding their core customer so that they can join in their conversation and offer them the fashion that they want. Our customers don't just buy our products, they become part of the fabric of ASOS. I mean, this is on the investor page. There's not much talking about shopping or clothes. ASOS will send you a free fashion magazine to your iPhone and iPad every month. You can use their marketplace to buy or sell pre-owned, new and vintage fashion. They even let other fashion boutiques sell in the marketplace. They share news, blog, create video, publish the pictures that people take of themselves or their mates and show you how to recreate this look with ASOS gear. And they will also send you off really happily to other people's shops to buy that look and very politely send you off over to, in that example, to River Island to buy some rather high heels. They cover music, celebrities, interview people, they do catwalk shows, competitions, and give you behind-the-scene exclusives. And of course, finally, they let you shop. They have almost 2 million followers on Facebook, 2.2 million on Google+, more than 100,000 on Twitter. They were founded in 2000, were profitable by 2003, and now have sales over $1.3 billion. How many fashion retailers would like to tell you this story? And they don't have a single shop front. 4 jumbo jets a week are landing in Australia full of ASOS clothes. They are a retailer, but shopping is presented as just as part of what they do. Their traffic, content and engagement could rank them as a media company, and arguably they're doing a better job than most fashion media companies that have been doing media fashion for decades. In fact, in 2012-13, they were the world's #1 most visited fashion website for 18 to 34-year-olds, which have sold media in my life. That's a pretty sexy demographic to be selling to media, but they don't. So if a retailer can build a successful model by turning what it is to be a retailer on its head, what might happen if a media company was citizen-centric and turned itself on its head? What would happen if media companies developed products based on what people want, not what we would like to give them? What would our products look like if we actually thought about that? Would we then, a media company, continue to only have our content? Would we limit engagement to the people from people onto the fringes or in the comment sections of our news articles? Would we never link to our competitors' products, let alone promote their content on our sites? Would we ever help to sell someone else's products or even help them package up our competitors' products in a way that would make it meaningful for them in their lives? Would we ever be able to say something like, welcome, we're creating a unique multi-channel media experience where citizens can engage, share ideas, create their own stories, and of course, access content. Visited by millions every day, we ship stories to citizens everywhere. If we gave up control, let people in and let other media in, what might we gain? Would we see viable media models emerge? More voices, greater engagement, and more journalists employed. And if traditional media doesn't walk this path, why do we think that we'll be the only industry that gets to set the terms on which we will engage with the people when technology is transferring power at speeds not seen before? And when everything that we've learned about startups tells us that two guys in a garage, or in this case, two guys in Newcastle, can build something that will disrupt traditional media simply by building a product based on human-centered needs. Something that is of us, understands us, and is reflective of us, of our community, geography, purpose, and meaning. I don't think citizen-centric media is a profound idea. It's just thinking about people first, not last. I think it could change everything, though, and maybe it already is. At ABC Innovation, we're trialling a new kind of media. What is a new kind of media product for us? Its beta incarnation is Spoke, and our first pilot locations are in Launceston and Newcastle. Spoke came out of open research that we undertook in Mount Gambier, Canberra, Geelong, Newcastle, and Launceston, talking with people and going into their homes to see how media and technology played out in their lives and the relevance of local information and the choices they made. What we found is that people are having to work very hard to get the right mix of content for them. And we also found that no one media company was the solution to their problems. We learned that people don't want local information on its own, but despite that, they found meaning and context in local relevance because it understood who they were in the world. And it wasn't just a function of where they lived, but of the stories and the context that had meaning for them. So the ABC is testing a mobile app that takes in content from across the ABC, ranks local stories higher, and also includes Fairfax newspapers like the Newcastle Herald and Launceston Examiner, feeds from local councils, sporting and arts and community groups. It's been live for 4 weeks. The Spoke team is here today. One of them's in the front here, Mina. We're downstairs. We're doing some guerrilla UX today and tomorrow. We're redesigning the app live based on your feedback. So please go along and help us to understand what it is you want. After all, you're all citizens. Next week in Mount Gambier, South Australia, we'll be launching our second beta, focusing on local voices and the issues that matter to the community, letting the community create collections of content around what they want covered. So we'll be trying to be of the people, citizen-centric, and we'll be sharing what we learn with everyone. I hope some of it will be useful in helping all of us in media to make products that care more about citizens and less about themselves, and that in doing so, media thrives and the citizens rejoice. It sounds very idealistic, and maybe it is, but I've got a very practical side, and I think alternatively, this could be a very pragmatic, people-focused and practical solution for media survival. Thank you.